You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jen, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started. Hello, it's your romantic fairy godmama, and today, Single Smart Female, we have a Single Smart Female listener question. Now, lover girl. Today's listener question comes all the way from the great state of Oregon, and my 52-year-old Miss Living My Best Life writes, Dear Jen, I had a beautiful group of men I was dating. My confidence was building and I was having so much fun. Recently, I relocated to a new city. I'm building a new mantourage from scratch and it's been going good so far. I am hopeful about my new city. Please help me with the problem of letting men down softly. I date a wide variety of men, as I've heard you recommend giving many men a chance. Sometimes things just don't click and I have to tell some super kind man, it's you. It's not you. Sorry. It's not you. It's me. You could just say it's you. No, I'm just kidding. Tonight, I saw a man for a third time. So sweet and caring, but a nonstop talker, too high of energy, and mostly no connection. I feel like a bad person, but I know he's responsible for his feelings. Still, I wish I didn't have to break any hearts. This is an awesome problem to have. Jen, you saved me when I was getting a divorce. You spoke to me in the darkest nights, and what you said was true. I listened to all of your podcasts and then listen again. Thank you. Okay, Miss Living My Best Life. First off, I want to say thank you, and I'm really, truly honored that I got to be there for you in your darkest nights, because I know what that feels like, and it means the world to me to be able to do that for somebody else. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad you made it through those dark nights, because there's always another time where you get to soar, where you get to come into the light and to really start to thrive. And it's a choice. It's sometimes a hard choice because you don't feel like it, but it is definitely a choice, and you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you start to rebuild. And I'm very proud of you for doing that, because it takes a lot of courage. And obviously you have that courage. That's incredible. Now, okay, let's dive into your actual questions. So proud of you also for creating a mantourage. Way to go. And I'm very, very happy that you are trying on different men. That's fantastic. However, I am going to correct a few things here so that you can have even better experiences. So the first thing, and you may already be doing this, but first thing I want to say is make sure that you're really addressing the notion of clicking and what that looks like. So it's not enough to date different types of men and using your old world view of what clicks, okay? So I want you to kind of throw out that notion of clicking. The truth is that you are learning through the lens of these men. You're learning about who you truly are romantically. And so there's a couple suggestions I have here. If you're not already going out, especially with these men, when you turn on this and start to learn how to step into my adored woman world, you're going to have men start to respond to you differently. And they're going to be very excited about you. And it's a really, truly beautiful thing. But a lot of us don't know how to manage and handle that attention. And we're really uncomfortable with that attention. And will automatically, because he's excited, will deem him as not interesting. And that can be a factor of two things. So first off, he's probably nervous because he's caught up in your beauty. He's caught up in how amazing it feels to be around you. And he doesn't want to fuck it up, but he's fucking it up anyways because he's overly nervous and it's coming out as too high energy. Make sure you're going on some kind of activity date. If you're just sitting in front of each other, it is incredibly challenging to manage that energy. Whereas if he had some dates with you where there was actual physical, you don't have to physically do anything sexual or anything, but y'all are doing some kind of physical activity that he could anchor into, it'll help him circumvent the part of his brain that's that's making all of this harder for him, and that excitement, help him start to calm down. Okay, you may very well already be doing that, but it is important. If you're not to do that, then you need to start if you're not already. Now, this is another little add-on for you. I want you to do something that you find interesting that maybe he's really interested in, you don't know much about, so he can actually teach you. Because that's a really good chemistry builder. We think chemistry is either there or it's not. It's not. That's not true. That is not true on any level. So even these guys that maybe there's not a connection right at the beginning, when you step into their world for a minute and, something that you think that you might find interesting or you want to explore something new and let him show you that world, there's an automatic chemistry that starts to happen, and you can see him in a different light that you may not have seen him if you were just going out on a dinner date. That's truly, truly important. Let me look back. You said that he was a nonstop talker, too high of energy, but mostly just no connection. If you do something in his world, try on something in his world. It doesn't have to be something that you know that you would find super boring or anything, but try it on. Something else that you think you could find interesting. And you play with his style in a way that is fun for you. See, I teach women when we work together in Secret Society, I teach them to make any date fun. And if you can make any date fun, your chances at chemistry are a lot higher. So then we're going to lead into this next thing. I don't know that you were saying this every time, but the whole it's not you, it's me thing, that's a cop-out statement for anybody. For when men say it, for women say it is a cop-out statement. Because it really boils down to, have you set them up to win with you? Now, so not only I asked you to step in his world for a minute, but have you asked him to take you to do things that you love? And again, remember, we're not taking guys to places that we frequent all the time, things like that, but you can also invite him into your world. If you're only, like we said, and setting him up means maybe if he is overly nervous or really excited about you, do you only take him to sit down places where it's just conversation and he hasn't learned to manage that energy yet? Have you learned to ask him, say, hey, I'm thrilled you'd like to share so much with me, but I'd be grateful if you would ask me some questions as well, if he's not asking you anything for you to engage, all those kind of things. These are adored woman skills. You can literally, as an adored woman, when you practice different ways of engaging, you can teach a man exactly how to treat you. And so there's a high chance of chemistry with lots of men, okay? Instead of just saying, just mostly no connection. And I'm not saying that there's always connection, but it really is a cop-out statement that we use to play smaller with men instead of exploring. Now, what is connection? Most women think of connection as actually chemistry. And chemistry right at the beginning can be deceiving. Now, don't get me wrong. I freaking love that really hot and heavy chemistry. But just because you don't see it in the first date, second date, third date, doesn't mean it's not there. And if you're setting a guy up to win with you, you have a higher chance of getting to that chemistry. Now, are there times where you just won't get to that chemistry? Yes. That doesn't mean you won't gain a lot from those opportunities, because basically what we're also learning to do as women is learning to be treated well all the time, practicing that. Because when we learn to be treated well, we stop being attracted to shitheads. Yep, I said it. When we practice dating, when we go and enjoy these men, now we're not trying to get free dinners and all that kind of stuff. That is a collateral experience of mantourage dating, but that's not our intention here. Our intention is learning to enjoy men. And when we learn to do this, then nothing, even if it doesn't work out, it's still taught us to be a woman better at receiving, where men can give to us. And then when we're full, we can give more to them too. So it's this beautiful circle of affection and love and potential. So when we're talking about connection, it usually means chemistry. Chemistry doesn't always start on the first date. Chemistry is not always there when you first meet someone. Chemistry is something that is definitely malleable and can be developed, and it can also be turned off, and has a lot to do with what is going on with you. Now, let's speak to not wanting to break any hearts. I get it. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. You know, I love men. I never wanted to hurt one man during this experience. But I also knew that I needed to go for things that were going in my heart. And I knew I was going to do that by doing things differently with men. So instead of worrying about breaking hearts, I realized inadvertently I was actually opening up hearts. And let me tell you why. Mantourage dating, when done well, when done right, you're not only learning about yourself through the lens of men around you, you're trying on different types of men. You are appreciating men, which is one of their fundamental needs in life. Like, one of the things that opens them up the most is to be appreciated and loved by a woman, like truly appreciated. Most of the time, most men are just, they're constantly fed about how everything they do wrong. But when they actually feel that from an adored woman, it opens up something beautiful in them. And every man that I dated, I'm trying to remember if there's any, I know I've told this story, but I want to make it clear, and I'm double checking my memory, and I believe it was every single man that I dated that was really disappointed that we weren't seeing each other anymore because he cared about me deeply, ended up finding the love of his life within 3 months of us not seeing each other anymore. So what does that tell me? That tells me when you experience men in a different way and you treat them the way that an adored woman treats a man, which isn't necessarily, you're lavishing sex on them. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing all the heavy lifting. It's just about genuinely appreciating them and having fun with them and seeing what's awesome about them and allowing to see if chemistry will develop, and it still doesn't. If it still doesn't, that you've opened up something for them. Not only you've learned more about yourself, but you've opened up something for them. Are there situations sometimes where men will get upset? Yes, but it's a lot less frequent than most women realize. Okay? Now, if you ask a woman that's happened, she's going to tell you differently. But I'd have to actually look in her situation. I've had one genuine situation with a former client where somebody got really, really upset. And that person, I didn't know there were a few things that she hadn't shared with me that would have been actual red flags that I would have told her, I don't think you should continue dating this person a lot sooner had I known. But it did end up resolving itself. It was a little uncomfortable, but most of the time, it's a non-issue. Most of the time, it is a definite non-issue. So with that said, I think we owe it to ourselves as women. I'm not talking about experiencing men through a physical lens, meaning having sex with multiple men, things like that, but actually dating multiple men until you decide to be in an exclusive relationship is a beautiful way to really see who you are romantically and to inspire them to be with a woman who cherishes them as well, even if it doesn't end up working out with you. And I want you to know it's not something to be afraid of. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're breaking hearts. Plus, most of the time, they might be, in love with you, but their hearts are open in a place that they're going to crave that kind of connection, and they will find somebody super special very shortly after. Now, let's get to your actual question, which was, how do you let guys down softly? I wanted to go through all those different pieces because sometimes we dismiss men that actually have potential and we don't realize it because of the way that we set up things. So I wanted to go through those different pieces. But there still will be men that you're doing it beautifully and it's just not working out. And so nothing is developing on that level. So you'll just reach out to them, and I give more detail when I work with clients on exactly how to do it and help them go through it. But it's basically letting them know that, hey, I really appreciated the opportunity to get to know you. And unfortunately, I don't see an exclusive romantic connection developing. So I want to wish you the best. All right. And it gets more specific depending on how long you've dated. It might be a little bit more lengthy and a little more detail, but it just depends on the length that you've dated. And that's something that I do with clients to help them with. I want you to keep having your mantourage dating experience. I want you to keep enjoying men. I want you to keep treating men well and letting them treat you well, because that's how you up the level of possibility of real, true love, adoring love in your life, and really enjoy it. And it eventually will turn into the relationship that you want. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. Before you decide to let someone down gently because there is no connection, be sure to ask yourself whether or not you truly gave them the opportunity to connect with you. Hey, Lover Girl, don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share this episode with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you are ready to walk permanently in the adored woman world and create the love life that you really want instead of the shit that they say that you have to settle for, then listen up. Women who get what they want search out the resources they need in order to make it happen. This is why you found me, and now it's time to make some badass, magical decisions in your dating and love life. No more half-assed decisions based on false information. No more half-assed dating and constant worry about whether or not you'll hear from him again. No more sustaining yourself on scraps of romantic attention or no attention at all. It's time to call BS on all the haters out there that say smart, successful women are destined to be single. It's time to invest in yourself with the only complete dating experience that has direct access to me and is put together exclusively for women like you. Meet me at secretsocietyofadoredwomen.com for all of the details, including pricing, structure for our time together, and to schedule your application interview. See you there.